President Trump is landing here in Omaha. There you see Air Force One right there with the blue nose of that plane. Once he touches down here, he will get off the plane. He will then travel to the Mid-America Center for a rally there. We've been following this, and we have team coverage. We have reporter Maya Sines, anchor Craig Negrelli at the Mid-America Center, and Jake Wasikowski is at Eppley Airfield right now as we see Air Force One touch down. Alex McClune is also covering out in the rain the protesters who are at the Mid-America Center. So we do have team coverage. Let's go to Jake Wasikowski, who is at Eppley Airfield. Jake?
Yeah, Jenny, Air Force One just came through the cloud cover about a minute and a half ago, a little bit later than expected, but still pretty close to on time here as we see some of the secret security kind of staging where they're getting ready to go. The presidential motorcade has been here for about 30 minutes at this point, as we've been out here for that entire time. The rain has at least died down a little bit, but it's still just as windy as it's been since we came here. The airspace was cleared, so Air Force One could land. We saw a cargo plane leave about 15 minutes ago, if not a little bit longer at that point. But again, the president left Washington, D.C. at about 2:45 Central Time, expected to be here for about 2.5 hours before heading back. A busy day again for the president with that emergency declaration for Florida because of Hurricane Michael, and then as well as the announcement for lifting that the federal ban on summer sales of gasoline with high ethanol blends. Allow for those year-round sales. That's a big talking point that we've heard is going to be happening here in Omaha today. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst praising President Trump for that and how it will help Iowa farmers. The other thing that happened today on the president's, unexpectedly I guess, on the agenda was the president accepted Nikki Haley's resignation as the UN ambassador, and she will leave at the end of the year. But again, the motorcade is just to the west of us, to our right, as we see the plane coming over, taxiing over, getting ready to stop right in front of us. We're not in the commercial area of the airport. We are off at that point. We've seen the Omaha Police Department, some of the motorcycles coming up here, as well as Nebraska State Patrol, U.S. Secret Service, and the airport police as well. But again, this is a live look right now. We are at Eppley Airfield as Air Force One is here taxiing, getting ready for President Trump to come off the plane. They're going to pull out the Airport Authority Bridge shortly. If you guys can still hear me, this is the third time that I've actually been a part of a president landing in the Nebraska area. First was President George Bush in about 2006 to 2007, and then a few years ago, President Obama when he landed at Offutt Air Force Base. President Bush was actually in Grand Island. The rain is starting to come down once again. But yeah, so plane's going to turn back around. What usually happens for every time that I've been out at a presidential landing, usually they have dignitaries from the city, state, as well as county, whether it be a mayor or any of the state representatives or congressmen. But I believe because of the rain and the windy conditions, there isn't really anybody here to greet the president as he's coming off the plane. There are a few people out here with the Secret Service, but outside of that, there's no elected officials that are waiting for the president to come off the plane at this point. But again, it's been raining and windy out here the entire time as the motorcade is getting ready to come around. We've got they're getting ready to put a couple of stops underneath the front wheels there. The Omaha Airport Police just went by here as well, and the motorcade is coming from the right at this point with Council Bluffs Police, Omaha Police Department. I saw the State Patrol as well earlier, just getting ready for the president to get off the plane and head over to the Mid-America Center at this point. So there's roughly 10 to 15 vehicles as part of the motorcade, with not only local police as security and as the escort, but there are press people that are on the plane as well. The traveling press are on the plane as well. They will be coming off and jumping into some of the vans, possibly in the back of the motorcade here. Some local press is going to be on there, print and television as well. Looking up some of the other people that I believe to be on the flight. Photographer Jeff Olson, they're asking you to kind of pan over right now. So some of the press are coming off of the back of the plane at this point. They're getting to open the front hatch of the plane, which is where the president will come off shortly. But we see a number of press coming out, many in rain jackets, as you know, it's still pouring, still very windy out here as well. Apparently, Representative David Young is on Air Force One, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as well as Stephen Miller, just some of the people that are on Air Force One, as we see the hatch opening now and the stairs starting to come down.
All right, Jake, you were saying that because of the rainy conditions, we don't see that entourage of people waiting outside that we often see. Have you seen any dignitaries out there? We know Congressman Don Bacon was just speaking at the Mid-America Center. Any other people you've seen out there?
Not that I can tell at this point. Really, there hasn't been many people that have been waiting in the area that we are, except for local press as well as Secret Service. Typically, you know, on a nicer day, which is you know, the other presidential arrivals that I've been to, we do see some of those, but I would believe it's most likely because of the weather situation. So no, I mean, really the only people that have been out here are Secret Service and the people waiting in the motorcade at this point.
All right, and you were saying that this is the back hatch behind the wing that we're seeing all the press getting out, but the front of the plane, that's where we will see the president leave the plane, correct?
Correct. That's the back hatch. We've seen pretty much all the press people have come out at this point. The national press pool has come out at that point, as well as some others getting into some of the vehicles behind the presidential motorcade up there that's awaiting the president coming out at this point. You know, once that happens, that's when we will see the president come out of Air Force One on this windy and cold day. It's getting windier and colder and rainier, you know, as we speak, off and on pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, we've seen during your live shots out there, it definitely looks to be a chilly one and brutal conditions really to be standing outside. So we have to believe they will escort the president very quickly from this location over to the Mid-America Center.